Chapter 1. Early Life of Gandhi. India, in the late 19th century, was a place of great struggle and hardship for the majority of its people. For most of this time, the country was under the control of the British government, which brought much misery and humiliation to the Indian people. However, the seeds of change were sown with the birth of a special person named Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who would later become known as Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi was born October 2, 1869, in the city of Porbandar, which is now located in the western Indian state of Gujarat. His father was a high-ranking official in the local government, and his mother was a deeply religious woman. Gandhi's family was relatively well off, but he was raised in a household that valued simplicity and frugality. As a child, Gandhi was quiet and shy, but he was also curious and intelligent. He had a deep love of nature and enjoyed spending time outdoors. He was educated at home by his mother until the age of 7, and then he attended a local primary school. Later, he studied in a high school in nearby Rajkot. Gandhi was an average student, but he excelled in sports, especially running. He was also a voracious reader and spent much of his free time reading books on a wide variety of topics, including religion, history, and philosophy. Despite his privileged background, Gandhi was not shielded from the poverty and suffering that surrounded him. He witnessed firsthand the struggles of the poor and the injustices they faced, which left a deep impression on him. This early exposure to the harsh realities of life in India would shape Gandhi's worldview and motivate him to fight for justice and equality for all. As Gandhi grew older, he became increasingly aware of the injustices perpetrated by the British government against the Indian people. He began to question the legitimacy of British rule in India and to dream of a free and independent India, where all people were treated with dignity and respect. This dream would guide him throughout his life and inspire his nonviolent struggle for independence. After completing high school, Gandhi decided to pursue further studies in London, England. His father had hoped that he would become a lawyer and join the ranks of the British-educated Indian elite. In 1888, at the age of 18, Gandhi set sail for London, leaving behind his family and the familiar sights and sounds of India. London was a shock to Gandhi's system. The bustling metropolis was vastly different from the small towns and villages of India. The climate was cold and damp, and the food was unfamiliar. But Gandhi was determined to make the most of his time in England. He enrolled at University College London to study law, but he quickly realized that he had little interest in the subject. Instead, he spent his time exploring the city, visiting museums and galleries, and attending lectures on a variety of subjects. He was particularly interested in the works of Henry David Thoreau and Leo Tolstoy, who advocated for simple living and self-reliance. Gandhi also became involved in the Vegetarian Society, which advocated for the ethical treatment of animals and the promotion of a plant-based diet. He became a strict vegetarian himself and experimented with various diets in an effort to achieve optimal health. Despite his busy schedule, Gandhi felt homesick and lonely in London. He missed his family and the warmth and familiarity of his homeland. He struggled to make friends and often felt out of place in British society. But he persevered, using his time in London to broaden his horizons and develop his ideas. One incident that had a profound impact on Gandhi during his time in London was his encounter with racism. He was once thrown off a train in South Africa for refusing to give up his first-class seat to a white passenger. This incident awakened Gandhi to the reality of racism and injustice, and it would later inspire his nonviolent resistance against British rule in India. Gandhi spent 3 years in London, and during that time he grew both intellectually and spiritually. He developed a deep sense of purpose and a commitment to social justice that would guide him for the rest of his life. And although he was homesick for India, he left London with a newfound appreciation for the diversity and complexity of the world. In 1891, Gandhi completed his studies in London and returned to India. His time in England had broadened his horizons and exposed him to new ideas, but it had also left him feeling disillusioned with the British-educated Indian elite. He was determined to use his education and his privilege to serve the common people of India. Upon his return, Gandhi struggled to find his place in Indian society. He had been away for several years, and many things had changed. He'd found that his traditional Hindu beliefs clashed with the modern, westernized culture that was becoming increasingly popular in India. He was also frustrated by the lack of progress towards Indian independence and the continued oppression of the Indian people by the British government. But Gandhi did not give up. He began to immerse himself in Indian culture and traditions, studying Sanskrit and learning about the country's history and religions. He also became involved in political and social activism, advocating for the rights of Indian workers and peasants and working to build a sense of national identity among the Indian people. In 1915, Gandhi was asked to lead the Indian National Congress, a political party that was fighting for Indian independence from British rule. Gandhi saw this as an opportunity to channel his energies towards a greater cause. He used his platform to call for non-violent resistance against British rule, a tactic he had learned from his reading of Thoreau and Tolstoy. Gandhi's non-violent resistance soon became the cornerstone of the Indian independence movement. He organized boycotts of British goods and led mass demonstrations against British policies. He was repeatedly arrested and imprisoned, but he never wavered in his commitment to nonviolence and his belief in the power of peaceful protest. Over the years, Gandhi became a symbol of hope and inspiration to the Indian people. His message of nonviolence and his tireless efforts towards Indian independence inspired generations of activists and revolutionaries around the world. And although he did not live to see India achieve full independence, he was assassinated in 1948, just months after the country gained independence. His legacy lives on as a testament to the power of individual courage and determination. Chapter 2: Nonviolent Resistance. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence was at the heart of his struggle for Indian independence. He believed that violence only begets more violence and that true change could only come through peaceful means. His approach was rooted in the Hindu concept of ahimsa, or nonviolence towards all living beings. Gandhi's commitment to nonviolence was put to the test many times throughout his life. He faced opposition and violence from both the British authorities and extremist groups within the Indian independence movement. But he never wavered in his belief that nonviolence was the only way forward. For Gandhi, nonviolence was not just a political tactic, but a way of life. He believed that all people had the capacity for compassion, and that nonviolence was the key to unlocking this potential. He saw nonviolence as a means of transforming not only society, but also individuals by encouraging them to act with kindness and empathy towards others. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence was not just theoretical. He put it into practice in his daily life. He was a strict vegetarian, believing that killing animals for food was a form of violence. He also practiced celibacy, believing that sexual desire could lead to violence and exploitation. Gandhi's commitment to nonviolence had a profound impact on the Indian independence movement. His use of nonviolent resistance inspired people around the world and demonstrated the power of peaceful protest. He organized boycotts of British goods, led mass demonstrations, and went on hunger strikes to protest unjust laws and policies. But Gandhi's approach to nonviolence was not without criticism. Some within the Indian independence movement believed that violence was necessary to achieve independence, while others saw Gandhi's nonviolent approach as too passive and ineffective. Despite the criticism, Gandhi remained committed to his philosophy of nonviolence. He believed that it was the only way to achieve lasting change, and that violence only perpetuated the cycle of oppression and suffering. Gandhi's commitment to nonviolence would become his legacy and would inspire generations of activists and revolutionaries around the world. One of the most iconic moments in Gandhi's struggle for Indian independence was the Salt March of 1930. At the time, the British government had a monopoly on the production and sale of salt, a staple of the Indian diet. This meant that Indians were forced to pay exorbitant prices for a basic necessity of life. Gandhi saw this as a blatant injustice and decided to take action. He announced that he would lead a march from his ashram, spiritual retreat, in Sabarmati to the coastal town of Dandi, where he would make his own salt from seawater. The march would cover a distance of over 240 miles and would take several weeks. The Salt March began on March 12, 1930, with Gandhi and a small group of followers setting out on foot towards Dandi. Along the way, they were joined by thousands of people, both Hindu and Muslim, who were inspired by Gandhi's message of nonviolence and his commitment to Indian independence. The marchers faced numerous challenges and obstacles along the way. They were met with hostility and violence from British authorities, who saw the march as a threat to their control over India. Gandhi himself was arrested and imprisoned, but he remained committed to his cause. Despite the challenges, the Salt March was a huge success. It drew international attention to the Indian independence movement and demonstrated the power of nonviolent resistance. It also sparked a wave of civil disobedience across India, with thousands of people making their own salt in protest of British rule. The Salt March was just one example of Gandhi's nonviolent resistance. Throughout his life, he used this tactic to challenge British rule and to fight for the rights of the Indian people. His methods were not always successful, and he faced many setbacks and disappointments along the way. But his unwavering commitment to nonviolence and his belief in the power of peaceful protest inspired people around the world and changed the course of history. The Quit India movement of 1942 was one of the most significant events in the Indian independence movement, and it was a testament to Gandhi's commitment to nonviolence. The movement was launched on August 8, 1942, with a call from Gandhi for the British to quit India. The British government responded to the movement with brute force, arresting Gandhi and other leaders of the movement and cracking down on civil disobedience. But despite the repression, the Quit India movement sparked a wave of protests and demonstrations across India. Gandhi saw the Quit India movement as a last resort in his struggle for Indian independence. He believed that nonviolent resistance was the only way to achieve true freedom, and that the Indian people had the power to bring about change through peaceful means. The Quit India movement was a turning point in the Indian independence movement. It demonstrated the power of nonviolent resistance and the determination of the Indian people to achieve freedom from British rule. The movement also marked the beginning of the end of British rule in India, as it brought international attention to the cause of Indian independence and put pressure on the British government to grant independence. The success of the Quit India movement was due in large part to Gandhi's leadership and his commitment to nonviolence. He organized mass protests and strikes, urged people to boycott British goods, and went on hunger strikes to protest British policies. Through it all, he remained committed to his principles of nonviolence and his belief in the power of peaceful resistance. The Quit India movement was a testament to Gandhi's vision of a free and independent India, and it was a defining moment in the history of the Indian independence movement. Although India did not achieve independence until 1947, the Quit India movement laid the groundwork for a peaceful transition to independence and inspired generations of activists around the world. Chapter 3: Legacy of Gandhi. In 1947, India finally achieved independence from British rule after decades of struggle and resistance. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence had played a pivotal role in the Indian independence movement, and his legacy continued to shape the country in the years that followed. However, India's independence was not without its challenges. The country was divided into two separate nations, India and Pakistan, along religious lines. The partition led to widespread violence and displacement, as millions of people were forced to leave their homes and communities. Gandhi was deeply troubled by the violence and division that accompanied the partition. He had always believed in the importance of unity and harmony among all people, regardless of their religious beliefs. He fasted for 21 days in an effort to bring about peace and unity between Hindus and Muslims, but his efforts were largely unsuccessful. Gandhi's legacy in the aftermath of independence and partition was complex. While he had played a significant role in the struggle for independence, some within the Indian government saw him as a liability due to his commitment to nonviolence and his opposition to the use of military force. However, Gandhi remained a revered figure among the Indian people. His teachings on nonviolence and social justice continued to inspire generations of activists and revolutionaries around the world. His legacy also inspired the civil rights movement in the United States, as well as other social justice movements around the world. Today, Gandhi is remembered as one of the most important figures in Indian history, and his legacy continues to shake the country in countless ways. His commitment to nonviolence, social justice, and unity continues to inspire people around the world, and his message remains as relevant today as it was during his lifetime. Mahatma Gandhi's legacy of nonviolent resistance had a profound impact on the American civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s, and on one of its most important leaders, Martin Luther King Jr. King was deeply inspired by Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence, which he believed was the most effective way to bring about social change. King saw nonviolent resistance as a means of confronting injustice and oppression, without resorting to violence or hatred. In the mid-1950s, King began to apply Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence to the civil rights movement in the United States. He organized boycotts of segregated buses, sit-ins at lunch counters, and peaceful demonstrations against discriminatory laws and policies. King's use of nonviolent resistance was a key factor in the success of the civil rights movement. His message of nonviolence and his commitment to social justice inspired millions of people around the world and helped to bring about significant changes in American society. King saw Gandhi as a mentor and a role model. He studied Gandhi's writings and teachings, and he traveled to India to learn more about his philosophy of nonviolence. He was particularly inspired by Gandhi's use of Satyagraha, or the force of truth, as a means of confronting oppression. King's adoption of Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence helped to make the civil rights movement a global movement. It inspired people around the world to fight for their rights and to challenge oppression and injustice through peaceful means. Today, both Gandhi and King are remembered as symbols of hope and inspiration, and their legacies continue to inspire people around the world. Their commitment to nonviolence, social justice, and equality has had a profound impact on the course of history, and their message remains as relevant today as it was during their lifetimes. Chapter 4. Reflections on Gandhi's Legacy. Mahatma Gandhi's legacy continues to have a profound impact on the world today, decades after his death. His philosophy of nonviolence and his commitment to social justice and equality have inspired countless individuals and movements around the world. One of the most significant ways in which Gandhi's legacy has been felt is in the ongoing struggle for human rights and social justice. His message of nonviolence and his belief in the power of peaceful protest have inspired generations of activists and revolutionaries around the world, from the civil rights movement in the United States to the Arab Spring protests in the Middle East. Gandhi's legacy has also had a profound impact on the environmental movement. His teachings on simplicity, self-sufficiency, and living in harmony with nature have inspired many people to adopt a more sustainable and environmentally conscious way of life. Another important aspect of Gandhi's legacy is his commitment to interfaith harmony and understanding. He believed that all religions had something to teach us, and that it was important to promote dialogue and cooperation between people of different faiths. Today, Gandhi is remembered as one of the most important figures in Indian history, and his legacy continues to shape the country in countless ways. His message of nonviolence and his commitment to social justice and equality remain as relevant today as they were during his lifetime. In a world that is often marked by conflict and division, Gandhi's legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and peaceful coexistence. His message of nonviolence continues to inspire people to work towards a better, more just world, and his legacy remains an enduring symbol of hope and inspiration for generations to come. While Mahatma Gandhi is widely regarded as a hero and a visionary, his legacy is not without its controversies and criticisms. Some have questioned his views on race, gender, and caste, and have criticized his leadership of the Indian independence movement. One of the most significant criticisms of Gandhi is his views on race. In his early years in South Africa, he made several statements that are now seen as racist, including referring to black people as Kafirs. While he later renounced these views and became a champion of racial equality, his early statements continue to be a source of controversy and criticism. Another criticism of Gandhi is his views on gender. He believed that women should have a subordinate role in society and should be subservient to men. He also held some controversial views on sexuality and birth control. While Gandhi's views on gender are often seen as outdated and problematic, it is important to remember that they were a product of the time in which he lived. Gandhi's leadership of the Indian independence movement has also been criticized by some. Some have argued that his commitment to nonviolence and his opposition to the use of military force made the independence movement weaker and more vulnerable to repression by the British authorities. Despite these criticisms and controversies, Gandhi's legacy remains an important and enduring one. His message of nonviolence and his commitment to social justice and equality continue to inspire people around the world, and his vision of a free and united India remains a powerful symbol of hope and inspiration. It is important to remember that Gandhi was a human being, with flaws and imperfections like all of us. While we can learn from his successes and his failures, it is important not to deify him or to gloss over his shortcomings. By confronting these criticisms and controversies, we can gain a deeper understanding of Gandhi's legacy and the complexities of his life and work. Mahatma Gandhi's legacy has had a profound impact on many individuals around the world, and many people have been inspired by his message of nonviolence and social justice. For some, Gandhi's legacy has been a source of personal transformation and growth. His teachings on nonviolence and compassion have inspired many people to live more mindful and compassionate lives, and to work towards a more just and equitable world. Many people have also been inspired by Gandhi's commitment to simplicity and self-sufficiency. His belief in living a simple and sustainable life, and his opposition to consumerism and materialism, have inspired many people to adopt a more environmentally conscious way of life. For others, Gandhi's legacy has been a source of hope and inspiration in times of struggle and adversity. His message of nonviolence and his commitment to social justice have provided a beacon of light for those fighting against oppression and injustice. Gandhi's legacy has also had a profound impact on the arts and culture. His life and work have been the subject of countless books, films, and other artistic works, and his message continues to inspire artists and creatives around the world. In reflecting on Gandhi's legacy, it is important to remember that his teachings and his example continue to resonate with people around the world. His commitment to nonviolence, social justice, and equality remains as relevant today as it was during his lifetime, and his legacy serves as a reminder of the power of compassion, empathy, and peaceful resistance. As we continue to confront the challenges of our time, we can look to Gandhi's life and work as a source of inspiration and guidance. His legacy reminds us of the importance of living with integrity, of standing up for what we believe in, and of working towards a more just and equitable world. Chapter 5. Lessons from Gandhi's Legacy. Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence has become an enduring symbol of hope and inspiration for people around the world. However, the concept of nonviolence as a strategy for social change is often misunderstood and underestimated. Nonviolence is often viewed as a passive and ineffective strategy, but in reality, it is a powerful and transformative force. Gandhi believed that nonviolence was not simply a tactic for achieving a specific goal, but a way of life that could transform individuals and societies at a fundamental level. Gandhi's use of nonviolence as a strategy was not based on a belief in the inherent goodness of people, but on a pragmatic understanding of power dynamics. He believed that nonviolent resistance could be used to challenge unjust systems and to create a new, more just order. Nonviolence as a strategy involves much more than simply refraining from violence. It requires a deep commitment to principles such as compassion, empathy, and respect for all people, even those who are seen as enemies. Nonviolence also involves a willingness to suffer and to make sacrifices for the sake of justice. Gandhi understood that nonviolent resistance would not be easy, and that those who engage in it would face opposition and repression. However, he believed that the power of nonviolence could overcome even the most oppressive systems. The success of Gandhi's use of nonviolence as a strategy is evident in the Indian independence movement. Through his use of Satyagraha, or the force of truth, he was able to challenge the British colonial system and to inspire millions of people to join his cause. Today, nonviolence continues to be a powerful strategy for social change. It has been used to challenge oppression and injustice around the world, from the civil rights movement in the United States to the Arab Spring protests in the Middle East. As we continue to confront the challenges of our time, we can look to Gandhi's legacy as a source of guidance and inspiration. His commitment to nonviolence and his understanding of its power as a strategy for social change can teach us valuable lessons about how we can work towards a more just and equitable world. Another important lesson that we can learn from Gandhi's legacy is the importance of empathy and compassion. Gandhi believed that compassion was the key to creating a more just and equitable world, and that it was essential for individuals to cultivate empathy and understanding for others. For Gandhi, compassion was not simply a moral principle, but a practical one. He believed that it was essential for building relationships and for creating a sense of community and unity. He encouraged people to see the humanity in others, even those who were seen as enemies. Gandhi's commitment to empathy and compassion was evident in his approach to conflict resolution. He believed that it was essential to listen to the grievances of others and to work towards finding common ground. He also believed in the importance of forgiveness and reconciliation, even in the face of great injustice. Today, the importance of empathy and compassion remains as relevant as ever. We live in a world that is often marked by conflict and division, and it is essential for us to cultivate empathy and understanding for others in order to build a more just and equitable world. One of the key challenges facing us today is the rise of hate speech and intolerance. Gandhi's legacy reminds us of the importance of rejecting hate and division, and of working towards building bridges of understanding and compassion. In order to cultivate empathy and compassion, it is essential for us to step outside of our own experiences and to listen to the stories of others. This requires a willingness to challenge our own assumptions and biases, and to be open to learning from the experiences of others. Ultimately, the lessons of Gandhi's legacy teach us that empathy and compassion are essential tools for building a more just and equitable world. By cultivating these qualities within ourselves, we can work towards creating a world that is more peaceful, more inclusive, and more compassionate. Another important lesson that we can learn from Gandhi's legacy is the importance of self-reflection and personal responsibility. Gandhi believed that true change must start from within, and that individuals must take responsibility for their own actions and their impact on the world. Gandhi believed that it was essential for individuals to take a critical look at themselves and to identify their own shortcomings and weaknesses. Only by doing so could they begin to make meaningful change in their own lives and in the world around them. Gandhi's commitment to personal responsibility was evident in his approach to social change. He believed that it was not enough to simply criticize others or to blame external factors for the problems of the world. Instead, he believed that individuals must take responsibility for their own actions and work towards creating positive change in their own communities. Today, the importance of self-reflection and personal responsibility remains as relevant as ever. We live in a world that is often marked by complacency and apathy, and it is essential for us to take responsibility for our own actions and our impact on the world. One of the key challenges facing us today is the impact of climate change and environmental destruction. Gandhi's legacy reminds us of the importance of taking personal responsibility for our impact on the environment and of working towards living in a more sustainable and environmentally conscious way. In order to take personal responsibility, it is essential for us to cultivate self-awareness and to critically examine our own behaviors and beliefs. This requires a willingness to challenge ourselves and to step outside of our comfort zones. Ultimately, the lessons of Gandhi's legacy teach us that true change must start from within. By taking personal responsibility for our own actions and working towards creating positive change in our own communities, we can begin to build a more just and equitable world. In conclusion, Gandhi's legacy provides us with valuable lessons and insights into how we can work towards a more just and equitable world. By embracing nonviolence as a strategy for social change, cultivating empathy and compassion, and taking personal responsibility for our impact on the world, we can continue to build on the legacy of this great visionary and create a more peaceful and just world for generations to come. Chapter 6. The relevance of Gandhi's legacy today. Mahatma Gandhi's legacy continues to be relevant today in a world that is marked by political and social challenges. His message of nonviolence, social justice, and equality has inspired countless individuals and movements around the world, and his vision of a more just and equitable world remains as important as ever. One of the key challenges facing us today is the rise of authoritarianism and populism. Gandhi's legacy reminds us of the importance of standing up for democracy and for the rights of all people, even in the face of repression and oppression. Gandhi believed that nonviolent resistance could be used to challenge unjust systems and to create a new, more just order. Today, nonviolence remains a powerful tool for challenging oppression and injustice, from the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States to the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. Another important challenge facing us today is the impact of climate change and environmental destruction. Gandhi's teachings on simplicity, self-sufficiency, and living in harmony with nature have inspired many people to adopt a more sustainable and environmentally conscious way of life. In addition, Gandhi's commitment to interfaith harmony and understanding remains as relevant as ever in a world that is often marked by religious conflict and division. His message of respect for all religions and his belief in the importance of promoting dialogue and cooperation between people of different faiths provides us with a valuable lesson for building bridges of understanding and promoting peace. Today, Gandhi's legacy serves as a powerful symbol of hope and inspiration for people around the world. His message of nonviolence and his commitment to social justice and equality remain as relevant today as they were during his lifetime. In a world that is often marked by conflict, division, and inequality, Gandhi's legacy reminds us of the importance of standing up for what is right and of working towards a more just and equitable world. His vision of a world based on compassion, empathy, and peaceful coexistence continues to inspire people to work towards a better future, and his legacy remains an enduring symbol of hope and inspiration for generations to come. In addition to its political and social relevance, Gandhi's legacy also has important personal and spiritual implications for individuals today. His message of nonviolence, compassion, and self-reflection can teach us valuable lessons about how we can live more meaningful and fulfilling lives. One of the key lessons that we can learn from Gandhi's legacy is the importance of living with integrity. Gandhi believed that individuals must take responsibility for their own actions and work towards living in a way that is consistent with their values and beliefs. This requires a willingness to critically examine our own behaviors and beliefs, and to make changes in our lives when necessary. It also requires a commitment to acting in a way that is consistent with our values, even in the face of opposition or adversity. Another important lesson that we can learn from Gandhi's legacy is the importance of self-reflection and personal growth. Gandhi believed that true change must start from within, and that individuals must be willing to challenge themselves and to confront their own weaknesses and shortcomings. This requires a willingness to be vulnerable and to acknowledge our own mistakes and failures. It also requires a commitment to personal growth and self-improvement, and a willingness to learn from the experiences of others. Finally, Gandhi's legacy reminds us of the importance of spiritual growth and development. He believed that individuals must cultivate a deep sense of spirituality and inner peace in order to live meaningful and fulfilling lives. This requires a commitment to spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, and self-reflection. It also requires a willingness to live in harmony with nature and to cultivate a sense of connection with the world around us. One of the key ways in which we can continue to build on Gandhi's legacy is through education. Gandhi believed that education was essential for personal and social transformation, and that it was essential for building a more just and equitable world. Today, education remains a powerful tool for promoting social change and for empowering individuals to take action towards a better future. By promoting values such as nonviolence, empathy, and self-reflection, we can work towards creating a more peaceful and just world. In addition, education can also play an important role in promoting environmental sustainability and in addressing the challenges of climate change. By teaching individuals about the impact of their actions on the environment, we can encourage them to adopt more sustainable and environmentally conscious lifestyles. Another important role that education can play is in promoting interfaith harmony and understanding. By teaching individuals about the beliefs and practices of different religions, we can promote dialogue and cooperation between people of different faiths, and work towards building a more peaceful and inclusive world. Finally, education can also play an important role in promoting democracy and human rights. By teaching individuals about their rights and responsibilities as citizens, we can empower them to stand up for democracy and for the rights of all people, and work towards creating a more just and equitable world. Chapter 7. Applying Gandhi's legacy in our lives. One of the most important lessons that we can learn from Gandhi's legacy is the power of nonviolence as a tool for social change and conflict resolution. Gandhi believed that nonviolence was not only a moral principle, but also a practical strategy for challenging unjust systems and creating a more just and equitable world. Today, the power of nonviolence remains as relevant as ever in a world that is marked by conflict and division. From the protests against police brutality and racial injustice in the United States to the pro-democracy movements in Hong Kong and Myanmar, nonviolent resistance continues to be a powerful tool for challenging injustice and oppression. In addition to its political relevance, nonviolence can also play an important role in our personal lives. By embracing nonviolence as a way of life, we can work towards creating more peaceful and harmonious relationships with others. One of the key challenges that we face in our personal lives is the impact of conflict and tension in our relationships. Whether it is with family members, friends, or coworkers, conflict can be a source of stress and anxiety, and can have a negative impact on our mental and emotional well-being. By embracing nonviolence as a tool for conflict resolution, we can work towards creating more peaceful and harmonious relationships with others. This requires a willingness to listen to others, to be open to different perspectives, and to work towards finding common ground. It also requires a commitment to empathy and compassion, and a willingness to put ourselves in the shoes of others. By cultivating these qualities within ourselves, we can work towards creating more peaceful and harmonious relationships with others and contribute to building a more peaceful and just world. Another important lesson that we can learn from Gandhi's legacy is the importance of empathy and compassion in our personal and social interactions. Gandhi believed that empathy and compassion were essential for building meaningful and fulfilling relationships with others, and for creating a more just and equitable world. Today, empathy and compassion remain as relevant as ever, in a world that is often marked by conflict and division. By cultivating these qualities within ourselves, we can work towards building more meaningful and fulfilling relationships with others and contribute to building a more just and equitable world. One of the key challenges that we face today is the impact of social media and technology on our relationships with others. While these tools have the potential to connect us with others in powerful and meaningful ways, they can also create distance and division between us and contribute to feelings of isolation and disconnection. By cultivating empathy and compassion, we can work towards building more meaningful and fulfilling relationships with others, both online and offline. This requires a willingness to listen to others, to be open to different perspectives, and to work towards finding common ground. It also requires a commitment to understanding the experiences and perspectives of others, and a willingness to put ourselves in their shoes. By doing so, we can build deeper and more meaningful connections with others, and contribute to building a more just and equitable world. In addition to its social relevance, empathy and compassion also have important personal implications. By cultivating these qualities within ourselves, we can work towards living more meaningful and fulfilling lives, and can find greater happiness and fulfillment in our personal relationships. One of the key challenges that we face in our personal lives is the impact of stress and anxiety on our mental and emotional well-being. By cultivating empathy and compassion, we can work towards reducing feelings of stress and anxiety, and can find greater peace and contentment in our lives. This requires a willingness to be kind to ourselves, to be patient and understanding with ourselves, and to treat ourselves with the same empathy and compassion that we show to others. By doing so, we can work towards living more fulfilling and satisfying lives, and can contribute to building a more just and equitable world. The final lesson that we can learn from Gandhi's legacy is the importance of social justice and equity in our personal and social interactions. Gandhi believed that all individuals should be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their social status or background, and that social justice and equity were essential for creating a more just and equitable world. Today, the importance of social justice and equity remains as relevant as ever in a world that is often marked by inequality and injustice. By embracing these values in our personal and social interactions, we can work towards creating a more just and equitable world, and can contribute to building a more peaceful and harmonious society. One of the key challenges that we face today is the impact of systemic racism and inequality on our society. From the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on communities of color to the ongoing struggles for racial justice in the United States and beyond, the importance of social justice and equity has never been more urgent. By embracing these values in our personal and social interactions, we can work towards dismantling systemic racism and inequality and can create a more just and equitable society for all individuals. In addition to its social implications, social justice and equity also have important personal implications. By embracing these values in our personal lives, we can work towards living more meaningful and fulfilling lives and can find greater happiness and fulfillment in our personal relationships. This requires a commitment to treating all individuals with dignity and respect, and to working towards creating a more just and equitable world for all. By doing so, we can work towards creating a more peaceful and harmonious society, and can contribute to building a better future for generations to come. Chapter 8. The Legacy of Gandhi. As we come to the end of this book, it is important to reflect on the legacy of Gandhi and the contributions that he made to the world. Gandhi's life was a testament to the power of individual action and the importance of living with integrity and compassion. Throughout his life, Gandhi fought for justice and equality, and worked towards building a more peaceful and equitable world. He believed in the power of nonviolence as a tool for social change and conflict resolution. He promoted values such as empathy, compassion, and self-reflection as essential for personal and social transformation. Today, Gandhi's legacy continues to inspire and motivate individuals around the world. His vision of a more just and equitable world, based on the principles of nonviolence and compassion, remains as relevant as ever and provides us with a valuable roadmap for building a better future for generations to come. One of the key contributions that Gandhi made to the world was his role in the Indian independence movement. By promoting nonviolent resistance as a tool for challenging British rule, Gandhi inspired a generation of activists and helped to bring about the end of British colonialism in India. In addition to his political contributions, Gandhi also made important contributions to the fields of education, social justice, and interfaith harmony. Through his work in these areas, Gandhi promoted values such as empathy, compassion, and self-reflection, and worked towards building a more just and equitable world. Today, we can continue to build on Gandhi's legacy by embracing these values in our personal and social interactions, and by working towards creating a more just and equitable world. By promoting nonviolence, empathy, and compassion, we can work towards creating a more peaceful and harmonious world, and can contribute to building a better future for generations to come. As we reflect on the legacy of Gandhi, it is important to consider how we can apply his lessons in our lives today. Gandhi's vision of a more just and equitable world, based on the principles of nonviolence and compassion, remains as relevant as ever and provides us with a valuable roadmap for building a better future. One of the key lessons that we can learn from Gandhi is the power of individual action. Gandhi believed that each individual has the power to create positive change in the world, and that through our actions, we can work towards creating a more just and equitable world. Today, we can apply this lesson by taking action in our own lives and communities. This can involve working towards social justice and equity, promoting nonviolence and conflict resolution, and embracing values such as empathy, compassion, and self-reflection. In addition to individual action, Gandhi also believed in the power of collective action. By working together towards a common goal, we can create positive change in the world and build a more just and equitable society. Today, we can apply this lesson by joining together with others in our communities to work towards common goals. This can involve participating in social justice movements, advocating for political change, and promoting values such as empathy, compassion, and self-reflection in our interactions with others. Ultimately, Gandhi's legacy provides us with a valuable roadmap for building a better future. By embracing his lessons and applying them in our lives today, we can work towards creating a more just and equitable world, and can contribute to building a more peaceful and harmonious society. As we look towards the future, Gandhi's legacy provides us with important lessons and insights into how we can build a more just, equitable, and peaceful world. By embracing his values and principles, we can work towards creating a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. One of the key lessons that we can learn from Gandhi is the importance of empathy and compassion in our personal and social interactions. By cultivating these qualities within ourselves, we can work towards building more meaningful and fulfilling relationships with others and can contribute to building a more just and equitable world. Another lesson that we can learn from Gandhi is the power of nonviolence as a tool for social change and conflict resolution. By promoting nonviolent resistance, Gandhi inspired a generation of activists and helped to bring about the end of British colonialism in India. Today, we can apply this lesson by promoting nonviolence in our personal and social interactions, and by working towards peaceful and equitable solutions to social and political conflicts. In addition to these lessons, Gandhi's legacy also teaches us the importance of living with integrity and self-reflection. By cultivating these qualities within ourselves, we can work towards living more meaningful and fulfilling lives, and can contribute to building a more just and equitable world. Ultimately, Gandhi's legacy provides us with a valuable roadmap for building a better future. By embracing his values and principles, we can work towards creating a more just, equitable, and peaceful world, and can contribute to building a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. In conclusion, Gandhi's legacy remains as relevant as ever and provides us with important lessons and insights into how we can build a better future. By embracing his values and principles, we can work towards creating a more just, equitable, and peaceful world, and can contribute to building a better future for ourselves and for generations to come.